Hi everyone, I'm Brian Ewell, the Master Superintendent of Uplands Golf Club. Today I'd like to talk about maintenance of golf course tees. A golf course tee receives some of the largest focused traffic that we see on a golf course. People standing at the tee blocks, hitting their shots and walking off. In this particular case, we're on the first tee. And as you can see, the wear patterns that we've got here in the first tee, after 5 months of play and traffic, there's really nothing left of this tee. The grass doesn't grow for 5 months in the winter time, and this wear will continue to decline the tee over throughout the winter. Your first tee, especially on any golf course, probably receives 3 to 4 times the normal amount of traffic as players are standing on the tee longer, waiting for the group to tee off, practice swinging, chipping, you name it. In our case, we get 69,000 rounds a year, and that's a lot of traffic. Now that's compounded by people standing on the tee, and this wear pattern starts to increase. We're into the last weeks of April now, and this is a time that we start to perform cultural practices. But before I talk about the cultural practices, let's talk a little bit about tee design. Back in the early 1980s, we didn't have these large tee decks here. We used to put out the rubber mats on a wood frame, and that's where golfers played for 5 months during the winter time when grass wasn't growing. So in the early 1980s, Uplands Golf Club designed these large runway tees. They're called a runway, basically much like a runway of an airport. These are large, expansive areas that we could distribute traffic over a given area. In the mid 1990s, we wanted to have some more yardage options, so we started to add some satellite tees, which at that time were our forward tees at about 5,500 yards. And then most recently, we had the United States Golf Association come to the golf course, do a turf consultation, and from there they discussed swing speeds. We didn't have that technology back then to test people's swing speeds. But now that we know female players and aging male players, their swing speeds are 60 miles per hour. The average male player swing speeds are 81 to 90 miles per hour. And from that knowledge, we decided to add an additional forward set of tees now at about 47 to 4,900 yards. So we're seeing some changes in tee deck designs and locations. Actually, one of their great recommendations they had was all golfers test their swing speeds, and then you match your swing speed to the tee block color. So we know that we're playing the right tee distance and also having fun. Besides traffic wear, growing conditions can be another problem for a golf course tee. In this case, we're on the third hole here. And the design of this tee is to put it along the road and have players hit away from the road into a safe area down in the fairway. But being located on the right-hand side here, we have a large wall of fir trees, and it blocks the morning sunlight. It's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon now, and this tee is finally starting to get a little bit of sunlight. It won't be till 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon that we start getting full sunlight. In this case, because of the lack of sunlight, we can see the amount of wear and damage on this tee because the turf doesn't stand up very well. We use an application called Sunseeker that will show the different angles of the sun at different times of the year, and we can see what the growing conditions and challenges are. So the next and final phase of our golf course tee maintenance is our cultural practices. After a winter of traffic, poor growing conditions, lack of sunlight, we need to improve our golf course tees. And the final piece of the puzzle is cultural practices. So we do a few different things in order to improve our condition of our tees. One of the first things that we need to do is identify what is currently going on. In this case, I took a profile of our 6T here, and you can see we have this layer on the top here called thatch. It's not too bad, it's diluted, but it's a layer of decaying organic material, leaf tissues and roots, and this buildup creates soft conditions. Secondly, what you see in this profile is these broken pieces or bricks of soil. This is compaction. This limits air and water movement and also root development in this profile here. So we need to fix that. So the first step that we do is incorporate vertical mowing. This is a tractor with a vertical mower with blades that slice vertically into the ground, and we'll blanket this entire tee with the vertical mower. And once completed, there'll be a large amount of organic debris sitting on the top. The crew will blow this together and then offload it into a compost pile and reuse it in other places on the golf course. But we remove almost a dump truck load of this organic material off of each tee, so a lot of material comes out. The second cultural practice that we do after the vertical mowing is aeration. We have two choices, either solid tine, which punches a hole in, or core aeration that removes a core. In our case, we're going to use solid tines that punches a hole into the tee top that allows air and water to move in. And this creates a great opportunity to incorporate new seed to repair the tees from wear and traffic. So what we do is we spread perennial ryegrass all over the tee, and the perennial ryegrass will not only go in the holes, but it also go in those verticut lines. So it creates an ideal seed bed and get a great seed take with perennial ryegrass, which is fast growing, usually germinates in about 7 to 10 days in 15 to 20 degree Celsius weather. And once we've laid the seed down, the final step is to top dress with sand. As we remember in some of my previous videos, sand is a non-compactable growing medium. It's like having marbles in a bucket. No matter how hard you step on it, you can't get the marbles any closer together. So by putting sand into this profile, it creates pore space for air and water to move through this profile, and overall conditions will improve in the coming months. So these are some of the things that we do to improve our tee conditions. We perform this practice usually in the spring and fall, and we're looking good for the year and get the tees in great shape for everyone. Happy golfing, everyone.